Are we good to go?
Well, this feels good. Try this. Oh, I need this right now.
Can we
Other way.
change directions? That's what I'm saying.
Change direction.
Like a total mind fuck. This is how you balance your left and right brain. I'm clearly one-brained.
Exactly, me too. Like one side is like, yeah, and then the other one's like, oh yeah, I got this. This just wasn't spontaneous. There was a purpose behind this. We don't have to understand it. We just go with it. Exactly. Just trust the intuition. That's all you got to do in life.
Just warm up your wrists before you do a podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome to Reroot, everyone. My name is Cynthia LeConte. I am sitting here once again with my soul sister from another soul mister, Ariane Teleshowski, founder of The Inward Path. Hey, Ariane.
How's it going?
It's going amazing.
Thank you for having me again.
Oh my gosh, we're regular, right?
Regular.
People are going to hear us regularly, so get
Can't
used
stop,
to us.
won't stop.
No.
Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah.
Always new stuff to talk about. All that being said, you having so much to say, today we're going to be talking about new beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about a lot of stuff is going on, but now I got that too. We were talking again this week and came down to this intuitive message that we're starting something new, a lot of new things are coming up. And all of those new things are high vibrational based, high frequency based. We went out with the old. We're still going out with the old. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of cleaning up to be done still. But what is emerging, now that the old goes out, it leaves room for the new, right? When things end, it's time for a new beginning. It's time to start something, to create something, for something to take that place, that space. This is what you're going to tap into today, and then some. Yes?
Yeah, totally. And you were saying that, and what I was getting when you were saying those words was that we're beyond the point right now where we have to worry about things going back to the old way. We're really far beyond that point. First of all, you and I are speaking from a personal development, global development, consciousness perspective. You and I were speaking from this perspective, just to make that really clear from the get-go. And from what I'm seeing and feeling and what I'm observing, and you can let me know how you feel, Cynthia, but I feel like we're beyond the point now where we need to worry about things going back to the way they were before.
You said we're doing this on the conscious level, on an internal level. I'm also seeing this new beginning on a physical level.
Oh, totally.
I will explain. You walk down the street in Hudson. We walk around the town in Hudson. Beautiful little town, really charming. A lot of businesses have closed down or transformed. In other words, like now they've taken it online. But these locations where these shops are closed, there's new things that are coming to town, new businesses. And a lot of them are pretty much what I was hoping for, like, yes, I love, don't get me wrong, I like going out for a cocktail. There's these little cocktail, your seagulls.
Oh. So I have some seagull pets. I like to keep them, close to me. And the seagulls bring me joy. So I keep them close.
They clearly have something to say.
They don't. At 4 a.m., at 3 a.m., they will scream to us and let us know what they want to say. So
that's right.
With that being said, I'm just going to close the window. Give me a second here.
We've been walking around Hudson, and there's a ton of new businesses that are opening up. Yes, there's a lot that closed down or went online. And there's these new businesses. I just feel that a lot of the old way of doing business, no offense, but kind of tyrannical. It's all about bringing in the money. All the employees are like numbers. They don't care how much you do as long as you perform. And it's all about the performance and the doing and they don't recognize the people that work there. versus the new way of doing business, the new way of leadership has been emerging for quite some time now, is now taking the forefront of our society, I'll say, of our
Yeah,
town. So
totally.
this is really exciting for me, because as much as I was so worried watching all of these little businesses, they're all little businesses, go down, and even some of the big ones, which makes it scarier for us.
Hmm.
There's these new ones emerging, and it seems like they're all very connected, all very like conscious driven,
Yeah.
for the nature of the company as well as the people that work for it, which is
Hmm.
super exciting. Like the
Yeah.
town is refilling itself. So like you say, new beginnings. It's like we saw things go down, and now, like, what? Oh my gosh, there's like a whole new era coming in, and it's beautiful and it's great and
Hmm.
it's refreshing. So I just wanted to tap
Hmm.
on that because I noticed that this week too.
Yeah. So, you're demonstrating something really important here. You're tapping into the fact that the reality that it's all connected. So we're seeing this big change take place. We're seeing everything being affected by it, of course. um, I think it's very, very plain to see, and it's very fair to say that a big change was needed, was actually desperately needed. And so for this to be taking place is not just, oh, a good thing, it's a freaking necessity. We needed it. We have it now. And I know that there's a lot of fear looming in the air. And this, I wanted to just address this. Of course, there's fear looming in the air. So much is changing. Of course, there's going to be fear. For us to think that, for us to believe that, oh yeah, this collective change is going to take place and there's going to be no fear, associated with it, that's totally unrealistic, completely unrealistic. And change is scary for even the most refined people who love change and adapt to change. It's still, there's still fear attached to, even with those types of people, there's fear. So yeah, there's going to be fear. We know this. We know it's part of the process. And we are being asked to right now make a choice. Are we going to be feeding into it? Or are we going to be taking a step back and building a different relationship? So something else that's happening right now is a lot of the places where we put our trust into or towards is now proving to be highly unreliable, right? So I'm talking about elites, I'm talking about the government, I'm talking about a lot of these, higher powers, we'll just call it that way, who perhaps have not had our best, how should I say, the best in mind for us.
Got the best in mind for their pockets.
Exactly. They're looking out for their pockets. And now that we're realizing that, and now that it's coming to the surface, something beautiful is happening. We're realizing, okay, I can't put my trust towards these people and these places and these things because they're proving unreliable, A, and B, they're falling apart. They're completely falling apart. So where do I put my trust? And now there's this like in between where we're kind of like, suspended. We don't really fully know where to put that trust and energy and attention. And I highly encourage people to take all of that energy and bring it inwards. It's like as if we've been conditioned to not trust our instinct, to not look at our inner guidance system, to not build that trusting, solid connection with it, and instead put it all out there outside of us and have other people and institutions and places and things tell us how to live and how to be. So by taking back this energy and this attention and this trust, it's a super important process for us collectively. But some people might be tripping up on that a little bit. Well, how do I listen? How do I listen? And how do I reconnect to that part of me? I haven't been doing that potentially my whole life,
Yep. And I also want to mention how, when you say, of course, there's fear that's there. I mean, one of the factors that brings fear in humans is uncertainty,
Yeah.
right? So the fact that we had a constant or many constants in our life, like we trust things to be a certain way, and when we see that those things are no longer trustworthy, well, we're we then lose we kind of lose ground, right? And that goes for, yes, what we used to trust as the media, or even a relationship. When you think that
Yeah.
you're in a solid relationship with somebody, and all of a sudden that person proves themselves to not be in your life anymore, well, that's ungrounding and
Mm-hmm, totally.
scary.
Hmm.
So it's uncertainty that is one of the main sources of our fear nowadays. And it's normal,
Hmm.
right? Like any of us, no matter what our constants are, when that is wiped out somehow, then that causes fear. No matter how, I think no matter how developed we are spiritually or personal development wise, or however you want to call it, it causes fear. Now it's what we do with that fear. Like you said, we can be with that. We're not trying to wipe fear away or ignore it or tamper it down. It's there. And we
Yeah.
need to acknowledge that. And then you're saying, one of how do we manage it once we really see that it's there? What do you do with that? So what you're saying now is bring your attention inwards. So this is where you have an opportunity, or we have an opportunity, to resource ourselves in what is most trustworthy, and that is ourselves
Well,
and
totally. Yeah.
our intuition. Yes.
Yeah. And to further reinforce what you're saying, let's just imagine the majority of people collectively really listening to themselves and really honoring what they know to be right. Do you think we'd be living in the in the planet we'd be in, the society and the structure and the planet we've been living in all this time?
At the highest level of humanity and human beingness that we can attain. In other words, if you're working from an ego perspective, no. But if you're working from an elevated perspective, let's call it, then absolutely. My gosh, if
Yeah.
we understood the concept of unity, that we are all one, that we're all one and the same, that I cannot evolve if you don't evolve, and if the world doesn't evolve, I can't evolve, right? Then yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's a really awesome perspective, this higher perspective. And what about a fundamental perspective too, of wait a minute, these actions that I'm taking are going to deeply affect my well-being, the safety and well-being of my family, the balance of the ecosystem, you know, like there's a whole list, and instead of taking the time to actually listen and really feel out, wait a minute, this is actually not right for me. I have a different path, and I'm not going to choose what all the other sheeple are doing. I'm going to really listen to this,
Did you say
even if it
sheeple?
means, yeah.
I never heard that term. That's hilarious.
Oh, this term is going around right now, and for a very good reason.
Okay,
For
I'm in.
such a good reason.
Sheeple.
It's such a good reason. Look at that. Look at what's been happening. You know.
Yes, sorry, I cut you off. Sheeple, I love
No.
it.
Yeah.
I want to hear about the sheeple.
Yeah. Yeah. People being directed to live a certain way, and then everybody buying into it without actually tapping into that deeper part of themselves and really asking, hey, is this actually how I really want to live and how I really want to be? And what I was saying before was, if people actually did that, I know for sure we would not be living in a world where there's so much destruction against the natural environment towards one another. Absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. There's, yeah.
Yeah, and bringing it back to the example I was giving earlier, it's because people have been more like focusing on their consciousness,
Yeah.
right? Seeing what is going on out there, seeing that it's not working, looking at what does work, bringing in this new levels of consciousness that
Yeah.
allows for the doings of these people.
Hmm.
Is, I mean, right here, the example I gave is, I'm going to open up a company. As an entrepreneur, I'm going to start a business that really speaks to my heart or to the heart of others and help people raise their consciousness, whether it's through your products or through how you treat your employees, how you treat how you market, how you treat your clients, like all of this. There's this whole aura or energy of consciousness that is being brought in now, and that is showing, and that always starts with the individual themselves. You have to be there first to be able to create that. You can't fake consciousness.
No.
Or at least I don't think you can fake consciousness, you know? And so it starts with the person themselves that then externalizes that, but it always starts with the person themselves.
Yeah, totally. And this ushering in of this new consciousness you're talking about, it's coming in because that lower consciousness is being drained out. Space is being made for it. We're becoming aware enough to allow this to come in. So yeah, I would just encourage people to not be shocked by the fear factor. Yeah, it's going to be there inevitably. Of course, we've had so many people, myself and yourself included, who really bought into and identified and went along with that old way of being. So, you know, there's going to be a process here, a grieving process, a forgiveness process, a letting go process, a cleansing process. There's quite a bit that's going to be happening and is currently happening right now. And it feels really great to be a witness of all of it. Oh, it feels nice, because I've been both. I've been an active participator and really into all of the information and all the fear and like the ups and downs and the uncertainty and the contradictory information and like, whoa, oh my God, like I've been part of that. I've been part of that process. I've gone in and out of that.
Yeah, and we still do, I think, you know, like we still sometimes dip into it.
Yeah, we still dip in. And then I've also been the witness, and that takes practice, and that takes practice, but I'll just leave it at that. That takes practice. And what a perfect time to practice that. So, what a concept that, you know, we're these beings, we have all of the information, the answers, the clarity, the guidance, the peace, the happiness we could ever need. It's literally in here, built in to us. And we've been conditioned to think that it is not in there, and to invest so much of our life into that belief. It's all outside of me. No, it's not. It's not. Absolutely not. So this is a really beautiful, beautiful process we're seeing here, where we are now reconnecting with that deeper expression of ourselves. And by doing that, we are accessing these higher levels of consciousness that you're talking about. And we're shepherds of it. We're bringing it in. We're ushering it in. There's a part of me that gets afraid, and it's like, oh, but there's still so many unconscious people on the planet. And, you know, what if things like don't move over to a more conscious side because of all those unconscious people? Like, you know, that's okay. Okay, I can entertain that fear. I can look at that fear. But again, coming back to a witnessing perspective, just taking a step back and really looking at everything that's happening. When I'm here, I do believe in people and in the heart-centeredness and presence of people. Even though, you know, that fearful part of me might want to convince me otherwise, I can't change anything out there anyways. I can't. You know, I know what my role is. I slip inside. Sometimes I forget. Oh, okay, my role is to, you know, be the change myself, you know, anchor that energy and that presence myself. But yeah, it's easy to slip in and out of that for sure.
But now, and I'll say, and now this week we had kind of this breakthrough moment where we're like, oh my gosh, you know, I called you. It was during sunset, and I was watching this most outstanding sunset and just getting present to everything that just happened and everything else that came with that, you know. And I just had such a solid sensation, and I had you on the phone. I had called you because I'm like, I got to share this with Ariane. This solid sensation of, this is a new start. Like it starts now. We've been going through a lot, and but let's call it the bulk energy. It's almost like we've went over a certain tipping point. Now, does that mean we're not going to keep going through a lot of really horrendous things and that there's not a lot coming still? No, it doesn't mean that. I think on a global perspective, on a societal perspective, there's a lot of things that we are going to be surprised with, and a lot of things are going to be coming up still that we're going to be like, oh my gosh, like mind blown once again, right? But in this moment, I just had this feeling, and from my perspective, in my life, in your life, in the people around me, there's a lot of things that are starting from a new, fresh perspective. And I just really got that this week. I'm like, you know what? Like, yeah, there's a lot of destruction happening, but we need that to start something new. And okay, fine, you can be in that destruction phase and you can hold space and you can be like, okay, I'm just gonna let the wave happen. But then eventually a new wave starts, and I just feel the start of a new wave without denying the fact there will be many more crashes and many more waves.
So let's take this and just continue on to this train of thought that you have right here. So yeah, a new beginning, and I've been feeling that too. So what does that mean of us? What does that mean of us?
Us, you and me, or us humans?
Yeah, in general, like, what does that mean of us? It's new beginnings. Yeah, it's like as if we have, drained enough of the the sticky, icky, like really pretty scary, dense stuff that's been looming around for quite some time. We weren't even really, we were aware of it, but not to this depth at all. Now it's coming to mainstream. I'm sure people know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it seems as though enough of this is coming to light, and there's enough of a tipping point for things to create a new beginning.
Right.
So yeah,
so
and right away I'm getting inspiration when I'm saying this, but what are you getting?
Oh, okay. Keep that thought.
Yeah.
What I'm getting is, well, it's very individual. And it's the responsibility of every person, every human, to look at what it is that they've completed, that they've let go of, that they, that whatever broke down in their lives, realizations we've had, so on and so forth. And what space did that leave, and what do you want to put in that space? What do you want to create? If I don't want to say if you could create, because obviously we can create, but given that you now have this space to create, because we went out with the old, now in with the new, what is that new? What is that new? Like, what do you choose? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? How do you want to, like, where do you want to work from?
Yeah, totally.
How do you want to let your life to look? How do you want to feel at every step of your daily actions?
That's it. How do you want to do all of that without having anything externally tell you how to do it? Right? Because like we said prior, all of those establishments and things and people and places and things we put all of our trusted energy into are now proving to not be reliable. So, okay, we're taking it back. And now by taking that energy back, we're going to have a lot more clarity and direction as to how to move forward. How do we really want to be and live? Not just what everybody else is, not just by living the way everybody else is living. Or so intuition, oh my God, inner guidance system, listening, going in, rerooting. This is like key right now. And some people might not know how to do it. I didn't know how to do that 20 years ago when I was struggling with all of the emotional, mental instabilities that I had no idea how to look inwards, navigate through the imbalances I was going through, and then find some clarity. I didn't know. Okay, well, there's certainly a lot of space for people like us right now to come up and to speak and to be a reminder and a voice and a guide to remind people, okay, yeah, we're entering something new. we're not going to be going outside of ourselves anymore. Don't do that anymore. You don't have to. You're going to live a much more richer, aligned, happy, grounded, heart-centered life if you are guided from that inner space, the one that we've kind of been pushing aside. So recreating the relationship with ourselves. Some of the happiest, prosperous, peaceful, loving people I know are a living embodiment of that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I was also going to specify that it's also looking at, like, obviously self-awareness is huge in this. We need to be self-aware first and foremost. So whatever it takes for us to learn how to do that, then if you don't already know how, that's number one. We need to be self-aware. And also looking at the things that we have let go of, right? And things that we potentially also still need to let go. You know, sometimes we still have remnants of the past and going, well, wait a minute, if I keep this, then I'm just going to recreate the same thing. So looking at, well, if there's a behavior that I want to change, I also have to change my story about that behavior or that thing or that topic. So, and that's constant, you know, that's like constant, or I'll say regular work to look in, taking one step forward. Is this the step I want to take? I'm feeling uneasy about it. It's feeling off. It's feeling stressful. There's anxiety. There's fear. Okay, what is that? Is that an old pattern that I'm bringing into the space? Or is this my fear of the unknown? Or is this like, I know I'm doing the right thing, it's just leftover fear because I know there's an unknown here, and I'm letting go of my false need for security, or my false need to feel loved by everyone, or my, you know, like we have all of these ingrained fears or things that we protect within ourselves that are ego driven. And to work with that, right? Not to discard the ego completely. It's about having a conversation with that ego talk or the ego itself and say, okay, I get you're trying to protect me here, but we're also looking at creating something else and something way more beautiful. So are we going to partner in that same direction?
Totally. Yeah. And I really encourage people to take this journey with others. So to reach out for support, because it could be a really tricky thing to do at first. Okay. So looking within and having the ability to know what to trust, know what to listen to. I get that feedback a lot. I've been refining mine for 20 years because I kind of had to. 20 years ago, I wasn't exactly in the best space and I really needed help. So I was refining that connection with my intuition like a freaking diamond. I was like, all right, I need help. This woman needs some support. Let's get as much guidance as possible. So.
And there's a difference between, because earlier you were saying like we have to stop depending on others, external sources to find our truth.
Yeah.
Well, there's a difference between outsourcing to find our truth versus outsourcing as a support for us to find our truth.
So this is such an important key point that you're bringing up here. Definitely a key of like, I'm not gonna say caution, but to just be really aware that what we're looking for at this time, ideally, is a safe space for ourselves to look inwards. So again, not to be told, you know, by some healer or shaman or teacher or whatever, you know, that's another example of people putting their attention and trust outside of themselves and asking other people to tell them their truth. There's a very big difference between going and seeking someone out who's going to hold that safe, non-judgmental, loving space for you to do your own work. And that could look, yes, therapists do that. Yes, you know, whatever you want to call it, healers, whatever, they do that, but not all of them. Right? So definitely it's a journey and it's an adventure. and we've got to explore. I've done a lot of exploring, and that's the only way that I knew what was exploring. And yeah, putting my trust in other, spiritual guides and so forth, and then getting burnt, and then learning in all different ways. And sometimes they were hard ways, but that's how we learn, and that's how we know what works and what doesn't. So yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
in other words, what I'm hearing from you is that it's important to simply take that journey and take the steps
Take it.
in that journey,
Yeah.
and be aware, because yes, we're so prone to making those, we're going to get into the semantics here, but the mistakes or whatever. It's, like you can think that you're gaining support when in fact you're giving your power away, and
Yeah.
maybe even underlyingly depending on another person to give you your truth, as opposed to you discovering it for yourself. We've all made those mistakes, and we potentially continue to make those mistakes too. And the important thing is that we're on that path, on that journey of adventuring and discovering for ourselves, right? What is our truth and what is somebody else's truth that is being imposed on us.
Totally.
Mm.
Totally. What an adventure it is. Oh my God. I'm just thinking of all the experiences I've had. You think you're helping someone by telling them what to do, but all you're doing is you're actually just adding to the complexes and the issues that are already there. One of the best things that we can do for another person is to just deeply listen, is to be present, heart-centered, and just freaking listen and let them speak and explore their own world, inner world, without judging it.
And I'll speak from another perspective. What about, let's say, you or me as a practitioner?
Yeah.
What about those people that come to us, and how we need to be mindful as to who's latching on to get our answers for them?
Yeah, I have a perfect.
Like there are certain people that develop like a dependency on the practitioner, on the guru, on the shaman, on the friend.
Yeah, part of the process. I went through that, and I've seen so many people go through that. That's definitely part of the journey. And I have learned to, especially in the last few years of my own work, I've learned to just put a hard no and a hard boundary, and just not feed into it. And it takes a lot of presence and humility from the practitioner to be like, no, I'm not going to answer that for you, because you know the answer.
You're so good at that. You've done that so many times.
Well, yeah, and to this day, I will, when I'm really panicked and scared and don't trust myself, I'll go seek someone out, my partner. I'll seek you out. I'll seek out some practitioner and be like, can you tell me what the answer is? We're all doing it. It's okay. It's part of the hero's journey. It's part of the human journey. And really, what ideally a solution to me frantically, instead of me frantically looking out to my partner or to you and being like, okay, I don't trust myself, can you tell me the answer? Instead of, me doing that, I can start by taking a breath. Literally, that one breath is so incredibly powerful. It's so effective. We underestimate how powerful one breath is. Taking one breath helps me to relax, take a step back, and just like calm my nervous system and my mind, so that I can realize, oh, wait a minute, I'm not going to have any type of clarity if I'm in a fearful space. So I've got to calm myself down. That's step number one. And then suddenly, oh, I'm getting clarity. And suddenly, oh, I know my answer. I'm just avoiding it. And, I don't need to frantically like claw at other people to tell me what is best. Like, do they know? Do you really know what's best for other people? Do I really know it? How can we claim that? We're not in the shoes of other people. Yes, we can have our intuition and guidance can come through and so forth. But at the end of the day, we don't freaking know. It's such a beautiful gift to give to another person. Such an incredible gift. I've seen it happen so many times in front of me, where someone has put that trust towards me and I said no to it, and they've taken it back, embodied it, and in that moment gave it to themselves and realized, okay, wait a minute, I have the answer. I don't need to ask her for it. I have it right here, and I can listen and trust that. It's amazing to watch that process unfold. So it's such a great point what you brought up there, honestly. This is something to definitely speak about regarding intuition and internal guidance.
Yeah, and bringing in that presence. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So let's say now we're on that path, we're finding our answers, we have a new space for a new beginning, and let's put ourselves in that space of new beginning. In other words, I have an opportunity to start something new, and I really get that, right? I get that. And what's to be put in place? Like, how do we help people tap into that and create what it is that they really want to create? In other words, not step into their old ways, and put themselves in a space where it's like, wow, I actually see this new reality, this new image, this new beginning.
Yeah. So first of all, embodying it ourselves. Are you talking about me and you specifically, or just in general?
In general, like I want to talk to people and so that people can say, hey, you know, I want that feeling of new beginning, or I have that feeling of new beginning. Now I want to hone in on it. I want to act on it. I want to, like move forward with it.
Totally. So this is the time to build that connection with the, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Intuition, inner guidance, gut instinct, higher self, whatever. Okay. That deeper part of you that does not want to freaking grind work, you know, those 6 days a week and work at a job you really didn't want, and, you know, have the friendships and the relationship that didn't really fulfill you, whatever it is, right? This is the time to really step back and to practice developing that relationship. Okay, so I can tell you how I developed that relationship. I learned it though through adventuring and exploring life and exploring my inner world. So I can share with you what works for me, but it might not work for you. And this is the beauty of it. So I'm making this really clear. I'm going to share with you what works on my behalf. If something I say resonates with you, try it. And if you try it and it uplifts you, then that's going to be one of those skills, tools for you to utilize. But if you try it and you're like, this doesn't do anything for me, okay, keep on adventuring, keep on going. It's like the person who told me, I've heard this so many times, I did a yoga class, it's not for me. Okay, you did one yoga class, one style of yoga with one teacher at one studio, and you're saying that the practice is not for you. There's like over a dozen practices. There's millions of teachers. Maybe you just had an experience. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
We've got to have the courage to start exploring now in a deeper way. You know, to start exploring that internal landscape that we have never dared to tap into because we're too freaking afraid and busy before to even touch into it, to even tap into it. Okay, well, guess what? All the old ways are dying. So this is a perfect opportunity. And the world doesn't function very well with really numb people, people who are numb and like grinding and not actually feeling and just like thinking, you know, and just like on the freaking hamster on that wheel, just going. We don't function well that way. We're not robots. You know, it's time to start taking it to a deeper level. Okay, so here's what works for Ariane. I started off with a lot of yoga. I started off with a lot of martial arts. That got me in my body. That got me connected to my physical body. That got me really building strength and confidence. And then I started getting into other practices like meditation and qigong and different types of energy work. And that got me into understanding, oh, hey, wait a minute, my body stores trauma and memory. And oh shit, there's a lot of it in here. I gotta do something about this because it's like kind of governing my life. So, all right. So I started learning about that. So I brought in a lot of different energetic practices, spiritual practices. Now what's keeping me connected to that inner space is doing like creative work. So, okay, lots of reading and writing. You know, there's different, like there's dance that I do as well to just get my body, get things moving. I do a lot of work with the natural environment. So I'm a huge hiker. Literally, this is the eighth weekend now, the ninth weekend now that I'm out in nature and hiking mountains. This is an incredible practice for me to get so deep into my, like the deepest part of myself. You know, I've just found sensory deprivation float tanks in downtown Victoria. I'm exploring that too. The exploration never ends, at least for me. Maybe for some people, they found their techniques and tools and they're going to stick with that their whole life. Sure, if that's what calls you, do it. But for me, I like to explore new things, different ways to go within, different ways to build that deeper relationship with myself. Sometimes I'm going to challenge myself doing that, going up freaking peaks at 2,000-meter elevation. And sometimes I'm floating in a freaking tank of saline solution and I'm just like totally sinking in and just like literally connecting with the beating of my heart and listening to my inner dialogue at the deepest space possible. Like there's all different ways we can do this, right?
And what is like, what does that result in your life? So
Yeah.
what's the outcome once you've done all of that? It's like, okay, now you're ready to fill in the blank.
Rewrite my life and then recreate it. That's what all of that does. When you go to that depth consistently and you're committed to having a deep connection with you, yourself, whatever you want to call it, your spirit, your energy, and whatever, it's all the same. Like committing to having that depth of connection, it literally gives, I'll speak for myself, it gives me and has given me the opportunity to be an active and conscious creator of my life, because I'm not bound by all of my traumas and my those past memories and all of those limiting thoughts and behaviors that I had learned growing up, not just from family, but from society and media and all that stuff. Suddenly I'm becoming a conscious creator. And not just that, I'm deeply impacting the lives of so many people around me. So the ripples just keep on rippling. Like this isn't just about me. This is about the much bigger picture here. And that puts a burning fire under my ass because I'm realizing like, whoa, I can contribute. This woman who had pretty bad anxiety and depression back in Montreal as a teenager can have an enormous impact on many communities around the world now, thanks to social media. Because I'm able to build and stay connected with and grow through this deeper connection with myself. It connects me deeply with other people. People are looking for that. We're all looking for that deeper connection. We're all looking to be loved. We're all looking to really love ourselves, right? That deeper connection with other humans, deep, rich connections with the natural environment. Like, who wouldn't want that? Fulfillment, right?
It reminds me, actually, I was just having a conversation with a client yesterday. My coaching client, she's a young woman in her late 20s, phenomenal. She's just phenomenal. Like her breakthroughs are phenomenal. But this week, we were really getting present to, you know, she brought her meditation practice back for 1 week. Okay. She's off and on, like we all are. We're off and on our meditation practice. So she brought her meditation practice back in for 1 week. And to give you a bit of background, she deals with anxiety. You know, she deals with anxiety, sometimes a lack of confidence and what comes with all of that. And she's up to some really important projects at work. And she dropped the ball on one thing that upset somebody at work, right? So 1 week of meditation, and all of a sudden she felt like night and day in terms of her anxiety levels. And that came with such a new flow at work, where she was constantly living bursts of breakdowns of anxiety, of pulling her hair out. She's like, no, this week I just felt like everything was flowing. And that person that she had a fallout with, she wrote her a personal message, just completing that that little screw up that she had with her, and the woman sending her like happy faces, which she wasn't doing before, like little emojis and stuff, where in other words, she's affected the mood of another person that she works with just by who she is being, what she's taking on in her life in order to connect with herself. So it's such a simple, down to earth, um, normal days proof that just putting in place little things like that that allow for your connection with yourself. And it doesn't have to be meditation. It's whatever makes you feel good, whatever makes you feel at peace, whatever makes you feel connected with yourself, with other people. You take these things on, and all of a sudden the world around you shifts. She didn't change. She was still, she's still at the same job. She still talks to the same people. She's still the same person. She lives in the same place. It's not like, you have to completely change things externally. No, she changed things internally to have an effect on her external world. And it's just such the most basic example that I can give. And pretty much what you're saying, that what you choose to bring into your life in terms of self-care and bringing in what connects you with yourself, with the world, with nature, with people, is going also, like, you hold a lot of space for a lot of people. And obviously, when you hold a lot of space for a lot of people, you probably need that much more of that self-care and that connection. And
Totally.
you're doing that, and look at the results. I mean, you're speaking to so many people, you're coming up with these programs, people love your work. People go into a room with you and it's like they melt. And that's such a great place to start. And being in that space, and now I'm going to share about me, is by doing this work. Yes, going through all the breakdowns and the cleaning up and looking at the past and going, shoot, I've been working from the ego, or I've been in the rat race, putting that aside. And now new beginning is like, yeah, okay, so I'm constantly minding where my energy is at when I move forward with my vision. So that's another thing, is so one thing when you're in that place of, okay, I'm ready to start something new. What is that? I'm not sure. Well, create that vision. What do you want? What do you want to create?
Yeah. And
and making sure that that creation comes from really like your ultimate self, your true self, and not from the ego, not from what you think you should want, not what you know other people want you to want. But really, all of this work trains us to be able to be authentic about what it is that we want and who we want to be. And then we have that wherewithal, that sense of that when we move forward into it, it's like, am I in it or am I out of it? Right? Am I aligned with that? And I'll take a step forward, and it's going, I don't know if this feels right. Okay, well, let's look at that. Do the work. Okay, now I'm good. Next step. Do the work. Okay, next step, as opposed to just go, working in automatically and just driving, and I need to get this done. I have an objective and I need to reach that objective. No, it's like, now we get to do all of that, but in a completely different space with a completely different energy. And it's serene, and it's empowering, it's energizing, and it's like night and day compared to what it once was. And that is what's available for people in this new beginning phase, is you get to start something as little or as big as you want, and go about it in a way that we in the past, or at least I didn't think it was possible. I want to reach this huge goal. Well, it's going to take a lot of really hard work, and I'm going to have to work 16-hour days, and I'm not going to have any free time. And there goes my social life. And it's going to be, and I don't know how I'm going to get there. It's like, no, there's this whole other, I put that behind me and now I have space for this new flow that I still don't know sometimes what it's going to look like. But I also, next clue, ask.
Exactly. Ask.
Take it
Freaking
on,
ask.
Ariane. Go into the
Just
ask part.
honestly, do you know how many times I ask internally a day? And I've been doing this for close to 10 years a day. How many times I ask that deeper inner expression.
I'm ready to put money down that you do it way more than I do.
Oh my God. I do it like pretty much any new thing or thought that I have in my life, I'm asking. So if I have a thought about someone, I'm going to deeply ask for direction and guidance on them. If I have an idea of where I want to go this weekend, do I go to this peak or that peak? Do I go to this area, this beach or that, whatever? Like, I'm asking, okay, is there one that is more aligned with me? Is there one that feels better? Okay, do I eat this meal or do I eat that meal? Oh, okay, no, my body is not resonating with that one. My body is definitely resonating with this one. What does it mean resonate? Okay, so once we really tap into the subtleties of intuition and of energy, our system, all of our systems will actually communicate to us. And I actually feel a physical, and you do too, whether you're aware of it or not. I know you do, Cynthia, but I'm talking to anybody else who's listening right now. There's a legit expansion that happens when we are connected to or contemplating or feeling something that is in alignment with us, an energetic sensational expansion. And there's also an energetic sensational contraction when we feel something that is not in aligned with us. And I took this was introduced to me almost 20 years ago when I really needed it. thank God that came my way. And I took it and I ran with it because I felt it work for me right away. And I had that sensitivity to energy and the subtleties already quite refined. So that was something that worked for me. Okay, I took it and I ran. And to this day, it continues to work. There are times I don't listen to it, even after 2 decades. But 90% of the time I'm listening, and it's amazing. It always truly blows my mind to see how, wow, there's this deeper innate intelligence within me that knows me and life far more than my mind does.
Absolutely. And I'm going to take it at in another context as well, which is, what do you need right now to move forward? What do you want? What do you even want right now? And I'm talking like from a project's point of view. Is there a resource or knowledge that you're missing? Oh, I don't know how to organize my website. I don't know how to organize my website. I'm asking the universe to help me organize my website. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, there's these people, these super savvy website building people that will enter my life and offer me the support that I need, or financial, or even not financial, but I need $650 to do this course. I'm asking the universe to support me in doing this course. Are you going to get $650 to do the course? Are you going to be offered the course for free? Are you going to get the knowledge that you need from that course through a whole different means that was unbeknownst to you at that time? But once you ask, you keep your eyes open and things will come. And I find that this is now more than ever coming so easily. And above and beyond what I had expected ever, really.
And guess what? It's going to become even more amplified. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So takeaway, dear rerooters, new beginnings. Get present to new beginnings. If you are present to new beginnings, or once that you're present to them, really put that training in place. Get that, train yourselves in trusting your intuition, tapping into yourself, into your own connection with yourself first and foremost. And don't be afraid to work with the universe. Ask for support.
Ask and listen.
Yeah. So ask and listen. And it's asking for support, not necessarily like for external answers, for other people to answer your questions. Like
for other people to answer,
get your answers.
Yes, exactly. Totally.
Yes. Ariane, again, we had such a great convo today. I'm so happy that that you're here to mirror this conversation, and I can't wait to have the next one. If you all enjoy this, please subscribe to the channel. Don't be afraid. Also, leave comments. Much appreciated, and we will see everybody next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh
You're
my
not recording in your bathroom, are you?
I'm not recording in my bathroom, even
No.
though my shower is right there.
Right, and your toilet is not beside you.
My toilet is not beside me, and the lighting in the bathroom is not exceptionally perfect for videos. It's not.
Just like selfie with the toilet in the background.
You can see my profile here.
Yeah, there you go. Your sexy body.
Let me just have my broccoli and puree pumpkin for breakfast and some potatoes.
Breakfast of champions. Why is it purple?
It's a purple potato.
What side of mine is like, what's my good side? Is it like this side or is it this side? Maybe I just need to alternate because both of my sides are bodacious.
She's eating the broccoli.
Like,
You know, we have to watch out.
Can I have it? Can I have the broccoli?
So. Don't ask why, just do it.
Don't.
Trust
Just
us.
listen to you.
Trust us. We know. We just know. Like you're doing like this thing. I'm using this now. So this means finish your
Pineal
thought.
gland.
Pineal
When
gland.
I point to my pineal gland, it means I want to communicate with you.
That's right.
That's right.
It means finish your thought. I have something to say, but you have to finish your thought.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry. Your seagulls.
Oh.